Welcome back, everybody. This is Frank Demore again with the Last Chronicles of Planet Earth, and going to continue on with some information about the United States and the debt situation and the coming collapse, as I talked about in my first video today of February 16th, 2012. Now, if you're at my YouTube channel and you'd like to know what I'm talking about, please go to my prophecy site, BibleProphecyMan.com. And when you get there, you'll see this post right here. And you'll see the burning dollar and whatnot, all the information I gave in my first video. Right now, what I'd like to do is go and give you some more information concerning the coming collapse of the United States. Now, today in Fox News, there was an article that says, "We are on the road to bankruptcy." And essentially, this is what I gave to you in this morning's report, but I'm going to highlight it with this Fox News report. Now, President Obama said in the State of the Union speech last month, we're already agreed to more than $2 trillion in cuts and savings. That was reassuring. The new budget he released this week promises $4 trillion in deficit reduction, about half in tax increases and half in spending cuts. But like most politicians, Obama misleads. Cato Institute economist Dan Mitchell, a recent guest on my Fox Business show, cut through the fog to get to the truth of the $2 trillion cut. We have a budget of what? Almost $4 trillion. So if we're doing $2 trillion of cuts, Mitchell said, we're cutting government in half. Well, that sounds wonderful. But what the president was talking about is not even a cut. The politicians just agreed that over the next 10 years, instead of increasing spending by $9.48 trillion, they'll increase it by just $7.3 trillion. Calling that a cut is nonsense. Mitchell gave an apology for what if I came to you and said, I've been on a diet for the last month and I've gained 10 pounds. Isn't that great? You would say, wait, what are you talking about? That's insane. And I said, I was going to gain 15 pounds. I've only gained 10 pounds. Therefore, my diet is successful. Now, the Democrats use the deceit when they want more social spending. Republicans use it in military spendings. And the press buys it. The Washington Post has been writing about the cronyism cuts. The politicians know this game, Mitchell said. The special interests know this game. Everyone gets a bigger budget every year, and we wind up sooner or later like Greece. Now, again, I'm glad he mentioned that because I also mentioned that in my post yesterday, what's happening to Greece, and we're on the same road to it. So this Fox News article is in line with what I was saying a couple days ago. We are definitely on the road to bankruptcy. So I'm glad that there are people who are recognizing what is happening in the United States and looking for not too distant future, we're going to see this bankruptcy, and it won't be pretty. I can guarantee you that. Now, this is what they say about it. We have maybe 10 to 15 years advance notice. And what's frustrating is that we're not taking advantage of that. Even as we see these other countries collapsing into social chaos and disarray. Now, keep in mind, I did mention many, many times, I believe that when the world collapses around us by the major global financial collapse, that is when the Antichrist will come out. He will form this new one world economic system and govern the one world society as well, as Jesus talked about in Revelation chapter 13. Mitchell points out that the politicians don't even have to make actual cuts to save the future. If they just slowed the growth of government to about 2% per year, the U.S. economy could grow out of this mess, but the politicians won't do that. Now, being from the Cato Institute, I actually do want to cut the spending. But if all we're trying to do is balance the budget over 10 years, which is sort of a minimal thing the politicians keep saying we should do, if we simply limit the growth of spending to 2% a year, which is about the projected rate of inflation, we'll have balanced the budget in 2022. But instead, the politicians say, oh, we'll have draconian and salvage the budget cuts. They don't want to put the government on a diet, even if that diet allows spending to grow 2% a year. They also continually mislead us about what their schemes will cost. Now, for the time's sake, I'm going to let you get into this article, and it'll tell you exactly what they're saying about the cost of the war and all this other information, financial information. But here's the bottom line. People are recognizing what's happening in the United States. The politicians are in Washington, D.C., watching their own backs instead of watching America. That is the first mistake. When you have career politicians in government that are watching their own backs and watching their pocketbooks, then we have a bad situation coming, and that situation, I believe, was already indicated to us in the book of Revelation, where we see one man is able to control the entire world and the financial system. Now, the only way that that could happen is if there's bankruptcies, not just in America, but as it points out in this particular article, it even points out to Greece and now, if you've been watching the news, beyond Greece, Spain, Italy, and some of the other European nations as well. So we're well on our way on the road to Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 17.